Hello and welcome back to my book nook. It is April 2nd, which means it is officially the start of round 3 of my K-pop readathon. So this is week 1, and like last time, I'm going to be attempting to do weekly vlogs to the best of my abilities. We will see how that turns out because I have some plans and friends coming and all that for this month. So we're just gonna play it by ear. But either way, we're gonna start this vlog. Like I said, it is April 2nd, which means technically my readathon started yesterday. Oops, I didn't read. I didn't read. Actually, I might have read like a chapter of like my ebook, which I'm currently reading up here. It's The Striker by Anna Wong. It's that purple one. I think I maybe read a chapter of that yesterday. Maybe. I think. But yeah, I haven't really done any reading. I was doing some knitting and crocheting and also sewing. Basically my old lady hobbies. Yeah, so I was knitting, crocheting, and sewing because I decided yesterday that I wanted to sew and dye 2 different dresses for Easter on Sunday. Today's Thursday. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So yeah, if my hands look a little slightly blue or gray tinted, that's because I was dealing with blue dye and I didn't have gloves. Thought I did, but I didn't, so it's all good. I am really tempted to, let me grab it. So I have been working on a sweater that, like, if you've watched my other videos, you've definitely heard me talking about it, but you haven't like seen it yet because like I'm working on like a full video for this. But I am working on a K-pop sweater or inspired sweater. Honestly, I think I'm gonna turn that into like a whole series as like knitting things inspired by K-pop idols and whatnot. But like, it's not just going to be knitting anything and everything. It's going to be knitting things that I like legitimately want in my closet, you know, being smart with my consumption and whatnot. But I last night cast on, I have to, before I start knitting this, I am going to go through and do another double check to make sure that this is in fact 125 stitches. My stitch markers should be at the 24 markers. But this is for the back panel. So I finished the top panel, and so now I've got the back panel, and the back panel is gonna be super easy because it's just 1x1 rib the entire time with like actual ribbing. And then once I get to the body of the sweater, that is also 1x1 rib. It's just a bigger gauge. So I really want to start working on this, which means listening to an audiobook, and I have multiple audiobooks that I got from Libby. I think I legitimately think I have like 5 or 6 audiobooks that I have checked out right now, which is great. I'm absolutely loving it. But I also didn't finish reading and annotating Go Luck Yourself by Sarah Rash last month like I had hoped and planned because of, you know, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. So I need to finish that this month as well. I've started. I'm only like 2 chapters in, and I think there's like 19 chapters. So maybe what I might do is I might tell myself that I have to read like a chapter a day. And like, so the equivalent is like, the idea is that I'm finished on the 19th, knowing that I have a friend coming in before then, like the 14th through the 17th. But I also like need to make sure like my house is like nice and clean for my best friend, to like some degree, like reasonable clean, right? Like I'm not cleaning for like the Queen of England, but like I want to make sure my toilet is clean for her. And that like the bathroom that she's going to be sharing with my toddler doesn't have the crayon mark, like the bath crayons, like doesn't have that just like all over the shower and the tub, you know, just simple cleaning. So which like, even if I like, you know, I'm going to be cleaning that multiple times. So like, I don't know why I'm stressing about this now because I've got 12 days. I have 12 days before my best friend arrives. So we'll, you know what, we'll see how that all goes. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That is like, you're just going to see Lex slowly crash out as I prep for my best friend to come, but also it's my best friend. So like, I know they're not going to judge me, but it's going to be really excited. I'm really fun. And so I need to stop rambling. I need to go figure out what I'm going to do. I really do want to knit. I do want to knit. However, it is currently going on 1 o'clock, which means I'm leaving in 2 hours to go pick up my kiddo from school. So the smart thing would be to do is to grab my book and read that and annotate that because I can't do that while she's like awake, but I can sort of knit and crochet and read on my phone. That's like also a new skill that I'm trying to see if I have, like being able to knit and physically read a book, like an ebook at the same time, or if I just have to do like audiobooks or just like YouTube videos. But that's tonight Lex's thing to try. Ooh, I could also work on my Hangul. Now would be a good time to do that. And just because I have actually technically done something for my readathon. So I'm gonna throw up my bingo board here. So about my bingo board. Usually I print them out. However, my husband is now working from home for the next like 4 to 6 months because they're renovating the office. And so they're going to work from home instead of going in, which means I don't have access to a printer anymore unless I want to bother my sister for her to print out at her work. But I have this digitally, so I feel like that's the least intrusive thing. So that's what we're gonna do, at least for now. I may eventually print out other ones. Also, like I could also, when my husband goes back to work, I could ask him to print out a few and then just go back and mark these off. But I have, as you can see, I have done 3 of them as of right now. And to the best of my memory, I'm trying to go like in order of like how they are. But the first one is, I believe, listen to a K-pop song, just a song, which I absolutely have done because of the next 2 things, which is listen to a K-pop album and then listen to a new to you K-pop group. And I achieved all of that by listening to Blackpink yesterday. I listened to the entirety of their first studio album. I forget what that one was called, but it was their first studio album. Listened to that in its entirety. And then I listened to most of their second album. I think I have like 3 songs left of that as well. In the meantime, I have also almost finished Hypen's discography, like their backlog. I think I only have like 8 songs left of that, maybe. So in Hypen, I think I'm going to finish their discography today, and then I'll be moving on to continuing to listen through Blackpink's discography, which isn't much. I've listened to most of it, I guess, at this point, at least according to what I can see on my Google Music and whatnot, or YouTube Music. And then after that, I think BTS is next. However, I need to talk with 2 of my friends because we have something in the works, and by my own rules, I shouldn't be listening to BTS's music yet until we do something, which I don't quite want to announce what it is yet, but there's an announcement coming eventually. So yeah, we may have to skip BTS and go to maybe TXT. I have them on my list. I also have B2B. I've got lots of people that I can. Ooh, GOT7. Ooh, I could do GOT7, and I could officially explore the world of Jackson Wang and Bam Bam. Those 2, for some reason, those 2 individuals pop up, especially Jackson, on my For You page on TikTok all the time. And Jackson just almost every time just has me dying laughing. So the 10 layers of makeup, like that line, lives rent-free in my brain. I love it. But yeah, that's going to be what's going to happen later today. But you know what? I think a smart thing to do. I really do want to work on this, and I will, and you'll see progress of this. However, I should go read the physical book. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go read my physical book for like 2 hours, like get as much read as I can, then go pick up my kiddo, come home, and then switch over to reading on maybe my Kindle or something, start knitting, or actually I'll probably start crocheting while she's awake, because crocheting is a lot more forgiving when you have a toddler that's trying to use you as a chair or a couch. And then knit when she's in bed. Unless I end up playing Genshin with my friends, which is also very possible. We could be doing that. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. This is apparently already a 9-minute clip, and this is supposed to be a week-long vlog. I really got to get better at stopping rambling. All right, I will see you all later. It is now Monday night. Yes, I think it's after 7. I don't know what time it is because my kiddo stayed home sick today, and so you know, if you were a parent and you understand that when you wake up to a sick kiddo, like you had no clue beforehand, things just go crazy. And of course, I'm getting a message that I'm running out of storage. Okay, cool, great. We're gonna make this as quick as possible, and then I've got to export footage. But I have an update. So I have finished 2 books, sort of, since I have last talked to you. So I now have 2 songs that I'm going to count off for vibes. Neither one is my title track. We'll get into that. First off is because I have K-pop Demon Hunters for the fans. It's the little golden book. This is my child's book. She got this for Easter. It's like 24 pages. I spoke with my friends and we all agreed this should count because I read it 6 times yesterday and then another 7 times today. She got it yesterday at 1 p.m. It's now 7 p.m. And I've already read it that many times, like out loud to her. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. However, I'm just going to count this as a single song, like a single book for like a single song kind of thing. And for that, I chose I Like It. I originally was going to have Shield of Sparrows, and we're going to put K-pop Demon Hunters in for I Like It. Kind of sort of because my child really likes this book. I mean, we both really like the movies. We love like hello, we're a K-pop family. We do love the movie. But yeah, my child really likes this book, so it just felt really fitting. So yes, I like it. I can now finally put that on the bookshelf for her to wake up to and see tomorrow. So yeah, I read that like what 13 times in the past like 30 hours or so. So yeah, we're counting it. The second book that I finished is an actual book, and that is The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. So it's over here, but you can't see it because it's like tucked in the corner. But I have The Fake Mate by her that I read previously. I also DNF'd The Nanny just because I wasn't a huge fan of some of the tropes and whatnot. But this is a romance between a hockey player and a baker, and I really enjoyed this. I was listening to it on audiobook because my laundry hamper that is like 20 plus years old, it's at least 20 years old. I don't know how old for sure it is, but it's at least 20 years old. It's finally dying, so I'm crocheting myself a laundry basket out of acrylic yarn, like scraps that I have. So yes, because I finished that as expected, because I totally forgot this, but apparently I knew I was going to be reading that. And so I had that down for Stray Kids. I could have also used it for runners, because like, especially the first verse and the pre-chorus and whatnot give me very much the vibes of like the issues that the male main character is dealing with. Like, they very much fit with his like plot line that he's got going on. So it could have worked for that. But either way, I finished this book. I really enjoyed it. My camera is like really, like my phone is really flashing at me that I am running out of storage. So yeah, that's my super quick update, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, hopefully.
Hello, it is now Wednesday night. I definitely intended to make a longer clip in between my last clip and this. But yeah, you can hear. I definitely didn't sound this bad. I mean, I sounded this bad when I woke up, but I didn't sound this bad during the day. So maybe tomorrow during the day, I can kind of make a more cohesive video, because I definitely think I forgot things yesterday. But I started and DNF'd a book today, unfortunately, and that is Mayhem and the Mortal by Shanora Williams. Oh wait, I definitely forgot. I DNF'd another book that I didn't talk about. Tomorrow, Lex, hopefully you remember that. But I started and DNF'd this today. I got like 102, 103 pages in. I was like 25, 26% of the way through, and I just have realized between this and Tosklov, I just really, really, really do not like naive, like, female main characters. There's just something about them that just really annoys me. Because I feel like they are missing some common sense. And so, yeah. And there were some other things that I was just like not vibing with. And I went and looked at some like reviews and whatnot. Lex, don't tilt the phone. Come on, don't be that lazy. And almost all of the reviews were complaining about the cliffhanger ending. And I found a spoiler and I like kind of skimmed it, and I was like, yeah, no, that would piss me off. So I'm not finishing it. So yeah, I'm putting this aside for my best friend to go through when she's here. She has already seen the book because I was talking about it a little bit. And she was like, that is gorgeous. And I'm like, yep, it's a Red Tower book. They're like always gorgeous. So she may end up taking it, but yeah. But I have talked with my friends because in a previous, I think it was last round, I DNF'd a book, but it was like 51%. And I had spent like 2 weeks reading it. And we had said that I would be able to count that for one of the prompts for my readathon. But my friends and I, we have collectively agreed that 25% is not enough, at least for me. You do you, you run your own race, but for me, we're not going to count it. Um, but yeah, I just, it is what it is. Also, I am now up to 47 books read for the year. I have gone up like basically 25 books in the past like 3 days because my kiddo keeps having me read her books to her over and over and over and over again because I decided to like keep track of like the books that I'm reading aloud to her. And it's just like really cute and whatnot. And so I just like on my tracker, I just have almost like a full page of just K-pop Demon Hunters for the fans, just nonstop, nonstop. But I love it. I love how much she loves books. But yeah, I have finished the like I DNF'd it, so finished this. However, I have started what is it called? The book? Yeah, the book of Blood and Roses by Annie Summerly. I talked about that in my TBR. I started the audiobook of that, but I also have the ebook of that. So that's my current read. Uh, I have other books that I need to prioritize too. However, this is one that like I wanted to read before my best friend came just because like if it wasn't something I was vibing with for whatever reason, my best friend and I thought that it would be something they would enjoy. And they're arriving in 6 days, almost 5 at this point, like 5.5 at this point, basically. So I want to make sure I have the book done, so I know whether or not I'm keeping it or giving it away. Um, but so far, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really happy with my decision to like just starting that, like the first hour or two. Yeah, I think I'm like an hour or two into the audiobook right now. Just that little bit automatically just told me like it was a good idea to DNF this because I'm already loving that one so much. Like I'm vibing with it so much more. Um, and I think it's because the care it like it's one of those things where it's like when you have like the main POV, or even if it's the third person limited or whatever, like if they're naive, like, or just like aimless, like it bothers me. Whereas like in the Book of Blood and Roses, like she has a very clear purpose and a mission and whatnot, and that to me is just so much more interesting. um and like has more personality. Like the naive characters, like I don't know what it is, but just I think it's something that like I haven't noticed before, but because I read two of them fairly close together, it finally clicked in me that naive. I mean, I would probably be safe to say naive characters in general just aren't my thing, but for sure that's the main point of view that I'm following. I'm not vibing with it. I'm not here for it. I won't say like never say never. Like it's like I could potentially be convinced to give another naive character a shot. Um, but yeah, no, I realized that's not for me, and I gave it 100 pages. Like I cleared like I was trying. The pacing was also odd to me. I don't quite know what it was. I could not put it into words what about the pacing was slightly off for me. It wasn't egregious where like I immediately DNF'd it or anything like that, but um, it almost, and I don't know what it was about my brain, but it almost felt a little bit formulaic. Just like okay, we're here now, we're going to the next spot. Now we're going to the next spot. Um, but yeah, um, I need to stop talking because clearly this is not helping anything, and I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah, I'm gonna go read in bed. So I'll see you all hopefully tomorrow. Hello, it is now Friday, so it is April 10th, so we are officially wrapping up week one. Ideally, I would have had this vlog probably up today. We're gonna try to have it up tomorrow. I'm also not wearing my mic for this clip, because as you can hear, like, I don't really have a good voice. I am definitely battling something. I don't know if it's just a throat issue or whatnot, but yeah, got sick from my kiddo, so it is what it is. Honestly, I don't really remember all that I talked about in my last like clip or two. I do know there was one day that I was trying to film and I
was running out of like space on my phone, so like I definitely like cut that way shorter than I probably intended to. And then I think the other time I filmed was when I first started like having throat issues, and so then I just, wasn't really reading or like wanting to talk much. So we're gonna go through a quick like recap of what I've been doing this week, just like as a recap for week 1. And I know for a fact I've at least told you about the first book or the first couple books I'm going to finish, but I didn't tell you about the first DNF that I had. So I'm going to pop up a picture here, but it's Cosmic Heart by Erin. Don't remember her last name, but it's by Erin something. And that is like a K-pop inspired, like book. Like the male main interest, like the male love interest is a K-pop idol. And I don't remember where I first saw it. However, I the smut kind of came out of nowhere, and I really wasn't expecting it for some reason. But it's just like it legit, like it felt like it came out of nowhere. And I just wasn't vibing with that. And it was super short. Like story wise, like it was a novella. And I wasn't vibing with it. I did not care to read like a ton of smut, and so I just was like, you know what, not for me. So I DNF'd it. If K-pop inspired books sound interesting to you, like feel free to like go check it out. As long as you're also okay with smut. I just am lately in this phase where like I don't really care about smut that much anymore. So depending on how it's done and whatnot, like it will cause me to either DNF or a book, or I will just like entirely skim it. And I did go and look like at other reviews, and it did seem that it like was going to be very smut heavy. Like there was going to be a lot of smut after that. And I figured if I'm going to be skipping a good chunk of the book, like I might as well just DNF it now. So that was the first book I DNF'd. Then I talked to you guys about how I was starting to keep track of the books that I read for my kiddo. So K-pop Demon Hunters for the Fans. I honestly don't know how many times I read that book. I could count, but I don't want to. So I definitely read that a ton. I also read this book, The Marvel Alpha Block. But I'm not counting this as like part of my readathon. But like I've also read this many times. So yes. I have to go back and count, but I think like basically like before I started this week, I think I was at like 22 books read for the week. And after, because I am counting the books that I'm reading for my kiddo, like if I'm reading them out loud to her, like I'm counting them, I'm now at 49. So yeah, she has had me more than double the number of books that I read just in 1 week, which I don't mind. I think it's very fun and it's cute, and I'm just, I've got a log of like, I can look at that and very clearly see that I read K-pop Demon Hunters for the Fans multiple, like 20 plus times, but all of those times were for my kids, so that was like a bonding experience. So like, but I did count the K-pop Demon Hunter one because it is K-pop, and I also read it so many flipping times, so I counted it. I don't want to grab my notebook, it's up there, but I did count it for one of my songs. I'll do maybe a recap later in the week. I don't want to talk too much to make my voice even worse, because I do have plans for tomorrow and whatnot. And then I also read in my list of things her Itsy Bitsy Spider little like nursery rhyme like movement book thing. So I read that a few times. Also, not counting that for the readathon, but I technically did count it in my counted books. Then I told you that I did tell you about going through backup. The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. This is the nice thing about moving to film on my floor instead of my couch, is I'm closer to my bookshelves, so some of them I can read. I did finish The Game Changer, and I counted this. I think K-pop Demon Hunters, I think, was counted for I Like It, because my child very much likes it. And I believe this one was counted for Stray Kids, because that's what I originally put this down for. And I don't remember what my reasoning for it was, but I had that down, so we went with it. But finished this, really liked it. This is the second book that I finished by Lana Ferguson. I've previously finished The Fake Mate, which is up here.
I DNF'd The Nanny, and then I'm currently also in the middle of The Mating Game, which is kind of like a spin-off, like set in the same universe as A Big Me. But I really enjoyed it. That's a contemporary hockey romance. Really enjoyed that. And then I did tell you I DNF'd Mayhem and the Mortal by Shanora Williams. I still have it. However, it's in my kitchen. I'm being really lazy and I don't want to go get it. But I DNF'd that. I DNF'd it like 100 pages in and it was like 25%. Like I gave it a legit shot. But I was just not greatly vibing with it. And so I finally like was looking at some of the reviews and then I saw like the clip that there's a cliffhanger, which is fine to some extent. However, basically everyone, even the people who liked the book, a lot of people were complaining about the ending. And so I found a review that told me what happened in that cliffhanger. And I was like, yeah, I'm DNFing this because that would just piss me off. So we DNF'd it. Listen, sometimes we DNF for petty reasons. But either way, I just DNF'd it because like I was like struggling to want to like pick it up. There was just something about the pacing that was off to me. But when I did that, I then picked up The Book of Blood and Roses by Annie Summerlee. This is a vampire hunter sapphic romance set in like a college. This is why, like, this reminded me of why we DNF books that we're just not vibing with, because I am currently, I think, 80 pages in. Let's verify this. Yes. Yeah, I just started chapter 9, so I'm 80 pages in, and I am loving this. Oh my gosh, like, I am absolutely enthralled. I love this. I love the main character and her love interest. I'm loving the dynamics. I'm loving the vampire hunter aspect of it. Like, I love this. And I was a little hesitant. I was a little worried going into this, but I absolutely love this. I am a sucker for vampire stories, and you add vampire hunter into that, and like, yeah, like I'm loving this. So this is one that I fully see myself finishing. Hopefully soon. We'll see. I'm currently listening to it mostly just via audiobook. However, I do also have it on my ebook via Libby. I got really lucky to be able to get both in at the same time. So when I go to bed tonight, I'm going to switch over, I think, to my Kindle to read that. So I'm really enjoying that. And then also kind of a, like out of pocket one that I didn't expect me to like really kind of continue, but I have, is The Striker by Anna Wong. That's all the way up there, like my fingers like way off camera just pointing to it. That is a soccer or football romance, because it's set in England and the UK, so they call it football, but I'm American, so I'm just gonna say soccer. But it is about a soccer player and a ballerina, like a professional ballerina. And I absolutely love Anna Wong's books. And I've only DNF'd one of her books, and that was simply because the tropes were just, they're not my favorite. And I tried. I gave that one a legitimate chance, and I couldn't get past the tropes, which is fine. Not every book is for every person, and you're not gonna like every book by like an author like that they write. It's just so rare to find an author where you like everything they write. But I have read so many of her books. I love her books. And that's one I've just been piecemealing, just reading like the ebook on my phone, and I've just like really kind of like picked that up. I think I'm like 160 pages in now, so like I'm a decent way through. I think about 30-ish% of the way through. I should know those numbers because I was just reading it, but it's fine. So I'm also currently reading that. So there's a chance, depending on how fast I read that might be also done by the end of the month, not the end of next week. I don't foresee that. I do foresee The Book of Blood and Roses being done by the end of next week. So by the end of week 2, I can foresee that happening. But The Striker, I don't think so. Why am I ADHD? We need to not play with Easter eggs that are just there for decor. Oops, it's fine. But yeah, that's kind of my update. Oh, and then my bingo board. I totally forgot to update on the bingo board. So I'm going to throw my bingo board up here. I think the only thing that has changed since I last spoke to you, because I did tell you about like the song and artist and all that. So like the 3 on the top, you already knew about. But the 2 on the second row, so the practice Hangul, and then the learn a new saying in Korean or something like that or whatever. So 안녕하세요, Alexis 입니다. So, hello, I am Alexis, or is roughly what it translates to. But yeah, Anasio Alexis Emida. That is what I have learned. Yes, I did also write Emida in, like, on my thing. Like, that's just kind of the pronunciation, like the phonetics of and whatnot of it. But yes, and that was also so that I remembered like which phrase I'm like counting this for. Because like I'm trying to, like, my friends and I, like, we're trying to teach ourselves Korean, right? That's kind of the purpose too of these 2 slots, is just to encourage us to like learn bits and pieces of the language. And so I just think it's gonna be really fun to see like which phrases like I'm counting for, like what I've learned. So that way, like, eventually I can go back and like kind of like have a record and whatnot. But yes, that was like my first thing that I wanted to be able to say, like, when I first started this. Like, obviously the alphabet, so Hangul, so I'm still rusty on the vowels for Hangul. Like, I feel like the consonants I've got pretty well down. The vowels I'm still struggling with a little bit, but I just really need to just like sit down. And I think if I spend another like 30 minutes, I'd probably have that down. But I just need to practice that a little bit more. But I'm getting better. I'm also getting better. I'm starting to like sound out things. And so now that I know that, then my next goal was to be able to to introduce myself, to be able to say, hello, I am Alexis. I do understand that Alexis, like, that's, you know, my name, Lexi, all that. I do understand that is not how you would say that in Korean, just because there are certain, like, sounds that just don't exist. However, that is also how you would say my name. So I understand that it's got the Felix treatment of, like, it gets real wonky when you spell it. Editing Lex is going to hate me because I have to figure out how to do this. If Editing Lex can figure this out, I'm going to put here, in, like, the Hangul, like, how I would say, like, hello, I'm Alexis. Because I don't know how to do that on my American keyboard. But if I can figure it out, it'll go there. If not, then it is what it is, because I'm editing on a laptop, and it is that. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think that's my update for week 1. I think that's my wrap up, and it's a pretty good week. I'm very excited because week 2, my best friend is coming in town. So, like, they're arriving like early Tuesday morning, so I'm gonna have a couple days for this week. And then my best friend's going to be in town, and we've got some fun things planned. I'm sure that they're going to be okay with me filming. And if not, then you're just going to get a shortened video, and you'll get a recap after they left. You'll get a recap of everything that we did. But yeah, that's it for this vlog. I'm going to end this here. Also so I can rest my voice. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up if you want. If you don't, that's cool too. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.